Hi and welcome to She Travels African TV. If you're watching for the first time, you're very much welcome. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Realestate, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So joining me today on the show is, Barrister Franklin here in Nigeria, Realestate, Port Harcourt to be precise. So he will be actually helping us to understand the legal aspect as regards to land, property, investment in Nigeria. Because, I've seen lots of complaints and videos about people getting scammed and all of that. So which is something that is, possible here. So for that to be avoided, so you need a legal practitioner, who is actually knowledgeable in that area and in that aspect to actually educate and clarify us on that. So that's why I have my lawyer here, Barrister Franklin. Barrister Franklin, you're very much welcome. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to talk to you people on issues concerning land and real estate. So the first thing one needs to know when one wants to acquire a land is to know the ownership of the land. Is the land owned by an individual? Is it owned by an organization? Is it a communal land owned by a particular people from a certain locality? We need to know that, you understand? And then you need to know whether it's a family land, being owned by principal members of a certain family. Now, when a family owns a land or a property and you want to acquire that property, one of the first things you need to do is to make sure that all the principal members of that family is consenting to that particular sale. We have situations whereby one of the principal members of a family goes out and puts up a property or a land for sale, and it eventually turns out that the principal members of the family do not authorize such sale. So in case of family lands, you have to make sure that all the principal members of the family are in alignment, before that sale can go ahead. And then when that is sorted out, we have to also check other things. You should make sure that the land you are trying to buy is free from any form of encumbrance whatsoever. And then in trying to do that, you have to check whether the land is subject of litigation. Any land that is subject of litigation wouldn't be a good land to purchase. If the land has been subject of litigation in the past, you have to make sure that there's a court judgment giving the person who claims to have the title to sell that land the authority to sell the land. You need to verify that. And then if the land is properly registered, you have to go to the land registry, make sure that the land is properly registered, and the person trying to convey or sell his title or transfer his title to you has the title that he's claiming to transfer. Because if a land has been sold to someone else, it simply means that the person has lost his right over that land, and therefore he cannot transfer the title to you. But if the person is the owner of the land, or a family is the owner of the land has never been sold to someone else, it simply means that the person trying to convey, the family trying to convey the land, has the proper title to convey that particular land to you. The same thing goes with the community. A land owned by a community, you have to look at the principal members of the community to make sure that they are all in agreement that the land is supposed to be put up for sale and that you can acquire that land, and the land is not subject of boundary dispute or subject or any form of dispute whatsoever between the adjoining communities, or is not subject of a government interest. And that is why you need to get a lawyer, a professional who is capable to investigate all these little things to make sure that you are buying a land free of any form of encumbrance at all. And then there are situations whereby people use their land to get loans. lands are subject of mortgages. So you need to make sure that that land is also free from any form of loan or mortgage or whatsoever interest in the land must be totally free. And then if you verify those information, you can now go ahead to buy the land, because the person trying to convey this land to you has the authority and right to do so. So this is one of the little things that you need to know when you are going to acquire a land here in Nigeria. It's always good to get a professional to help you out, to make all the background investigation concerning that place, to make sure it's free from any form of encumbrance whatsoever.
Thank you very much, Barrister Franklin. You guys have heard him, because it's very important, so you avoid all these scam issues and all of these issues with land. So please make sure that you get a legal practitioner involved whenever you're getting any property or trying to make any investment, and all of that is very, very important. So speaking of investment, can you tell us, for instance, there are some people who are actually living in the diaspora and they would like to invest, perhaps in properties and, real estate and stuff like that in Nigeria. So, and they will not be physically present. So how do we actually manage their, property and all of that? How do we manage those properties, and how do we merge those things? Thank you.
Okay, so for people living in diaspora and you want to have an investment in Nigeria, you can have a property here, let's say a duplex, a bungalow, a warehouse, as the case may be, and then you can get a properly certified real estate company or the services of a lawyer to be able to manage those property efficiently for you. One of the things you can do is to open a domiciliary account here in Nigeria, where the real estate company or the legal practitioner in charge can make payments to you. As soon as the tenants make payments, the lawyer transmits same to the owners. And then one other important feature why a lawyer is important to also manage your property is there are situations of dispute might come up. The lawyer has to be able to get that resolved through the legal means available. There are situations whereby some tenants become troublesome. There are situations whereby, for one reason or the other, a tenant needs to be evicted. You have to use the services of a legal practitioner to be able to achieve that. And so property management is one of the ways one can actually invest in Nigeria, and you can earn your money, you can monitor what's happening. You have an account here, you have the services of the lawyer, you can be in constant communication with him. He's going to give you updates about things going in and around the property. You always be well informed. And so you need to get someone, a lawyer you can trust, that can handle this investments for you. We have so many cases are bound whereby people in the UK, in the United States, in Canada, they have their properties being managed very well by some lawyers, and they pay them, they pay whatever accrues to them via the tenants to their account, and they get these payments, they get the updates, and their investment is as tight as anything you can think about. So I encourage people in diaspora to also invest in Nigeria. You can have these properties here and they are being managed properly for you while you are over there, and you can reap the investments coming in from real estate. You understand? So it's advisable to have properties here that you can rent out and then have tenants occupy them, and then whenever you feel like you want the tenants or you want the property to yourself, or for any reason whatsoever you want to put it into any use whatsoever, the lawyer can as well take the legal process to evict whoever is there after due notification and service of the statutory notices required by law. And then you can actually now have that property. And then occasionally there will be maintenance of those properties. The person in charge, real estate firm or the lawyer, will be in charge of maintaining the property to keep it in a good and tenantable condition, so that people can always rent these properties, and your property will be there yielding monies, and is an investment. It will yield something very, very fruitful and tangible. While you're away, you can monitor these things. So yes, it's a very, very good form of investment.
Thank you very much, for those points that you've actually made concerning real estate and investing in Nigeria, and how to manage it legally and the proper way. So I think so that diasporas, your money will not be mismanaged, because you need to ask the right questions, and you need to meet up with the right people who can actually help. Because sometimes the reason why a lot of people get scammed, or they get into all of these fraudulent activities with people who are not legit. It's because you ask the wrong questions, and then because things that are quick, some of these people, one of the way you can identify them is because they are very quick in telling you pay cash, pay money very quick, and all of that. You understand, there's so much on your throat and on your neck. So those things should be really avoided. Things should be done in process. You understand, it takes time to do things and in the right way. So you have to get things done in due process and the right way and legally, because I always support that, and I will always advise you to always go through the legal aspect in terms of investment or otherwise. So let's talk about when it comes to maintenance, because this is where again is a big issue here. So maintenance is a very big issue. It's not just about investing. So all these things should be included, as part of the agreement, because the houses or these properties needs to be in a good shape, for people to be able to rent it, and all of that. So the maintenance aspect here is very poor. So how do we rectify this issue?
Okay. When it comes to this issue, one of the candid advice I can give to property owners is when you're giving out your property, there are certain monies or levy, if you may call it, that are being attached to it. First of all, there's the rent, you understand? So let's assume the rent is 700,000 naira on a 2-bedroom apartment. There's a legal fee. There's what we call the caution fee. You understand? So this caution fee now, in some places and some areas, they are refundable, whereby your property is used by a tenant and it does not destroy any of the features. You understand? You can give the tenant back that money, but whereby the tenant mismanages some of the properties, that caution fee serves the effect of taking care of those places. Now, there's what we call reasonable tear and wear of properties. As you are using a property, some properties are going to get damaged, not willfully, but because in the course of time. So that's why we call it reasonable tear and wear. So for those type of situations, the landlord is required to fix those things, and so the landlord can set out a certain amount of money for cost of repairs. Maybe on each rent he can set out about 3% of the total amount of the rent for issues of repairs that might come up. And so when they come up, you can have those things fixed to keep the property in a proper tenantable situation, whereby when it's time to rent it out, a tenant is willing to pay just because everything is intact. So this is one of the ways that we can curb this particular situation.
Thank you very much for actually clarifying that, just in case you're planning on acquiring, property or investing here. So please put this at the back of your mind, because it's very, very important here. Another thing I want to ask you is about the paperwork, because the procedure of the paperwork, how long does it take, and what is the right process to go about it?
Okay, when it comes to paperwork now, if you're acquiring, let's say, a land here, one of the first things that can be created is when you have checked everything and the land meets all the necessary criteria for the purchaser. One of the first things that can be done is there can be a contract of sale, you understand, showing how monies are going to be paid and in what dimension these monies are going to be paid to the vendor. So when you have a contract of sale in place, you can go ahead to make the full payment of the property. Now, when that is done, there's going to be what we call, like in Realestate, for instance, is going to be a deed of conveyance. It's a document transferring title now from the vendor to the purchaser, telling the purchaser that he has full rights now to take over these properties. And then if it's a property that has a certificate of occupancy, certificate of occupancy is usually given for a term of 99 years. So it's written in, we have a law that governs that, the Land Use Act of 1978. So if it's a property that has a certificate of occupancy, the person would transfer the remaining time he or she has on that particular property to you. If it's 99 years, if it's 80, if it's 70 remaining, whatever title the person has now automatically transmits to you buying it. Of course, you would have done your due diligence first before going to acquire such properties, to make sure that the person conveying the title has the proper title to convey. And then if the document he has is a certificate of occupancy, you can go to the relevant government agencies to verify that and make sure that there is no discrepancies whatsoever in that particular document. And then if everything checks out and the lawyer in charge or the professional is able to do his due diligence, you can go ahead to buy the property or purchase the property, and you get these documents as well.
Thank you very much for answering this. This will be all for now. So if you want any legal advice on how to get properties, on how to buy land here, how to invest, manage properties and all of that, you can get back to us. There's going to be, the email is going to be there, a phone number is going to be there for you to call on and all of that. So just get back to us for advice, and Barrister Franklin is here to attend to you, anytime, any day. So just get back to us, and then, we will attend to you legally and the right way. So until next time, we'll see you again. Thank you very much, for your time and your patience. Thank you, Barrister Franklin, for being here. I really appreciate you. I'm so thrilled to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
All right. Bye-bye.